It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is showtime. Geno Jones showtime. Hold on. I just have to step off camera just for a second. All right. Bam, I'm back. Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. on the East Coast Eastern Time, 5:30 Central Time, live in Los Angeles, and everybody on the West Coast, 3:30 p.m. Spread the word, spread the news, start spreading the news, spread the gospel. The Geno Jones Show is on the air and live, and you can subscribe to my channel. Don't cost you a penny. However, if you would like to support this show, if you would like to financially make a financial contribution, if you would like to support Black-owned media and support my media company and this show financially, I would love it. It absolutely is needed. It is necessary. It is vital for the growth and thriving and surviving of the Geno Jones Show and my media company, Geno Media. So thank you. Thank you in advance. Thank you to sponsors like City Vibes Bar and Lounge, 9730 Dorchester Road here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. 7 nights a week. Normally they are open 7 nights a week. Big shout out to Corey and Kenya Williams. You can find City Vibes, V-I-B-E, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And shout out to the Crate Group, C-R-A-T-E, one of the top nonprofits in America. And shout out to their CEO, Mr. Kendrick Bannister, Brother Al. If you're looking for a nonprofit to support, to invest in, who have been investing in the community, the larger community, our culture, our people, and they've been doing it for over about 35, 36 years, so over 3 decades, like three and a half decades. So C-R-A-T-E, thecrategroup.org. Let's get it jump started. Hey, Rosalind, how are you? So check this out, everybody. Everybody watching me live right now. The show is interactive. You can jump in my chat room like Rosalind Anderson is doing. And if you have a question, a comment, you want to get into this conversation, discussion, argument, good luck with that, but it's okay. Y'all can do that too. So just feel free to join, start a conversation, join the conversation. Start a new one, ask a question. You want me to give a shout out? You can give somebody a shout out or tell me who to shout out. We can do all of that on the show. Blessed. Rosalind, you're blessed, and so am I. And so is everybody that is watching me, who can see me and who can hear me, I'm within the sound of my voice. And this TV show allows this voice to go all across the globe. So I want to start off. So let's start off with some good news. So I want to shout out Jordan Childs. She's an Olympic medalist, and she won multiple, I think at least she won 2 medals last year in Paris. I think 1 was gold, but I know she won 2 Olympic medals. She's part of that amazing U.S. women's gymnastic team led by Miss Simone Biles. Jordan Childs, she is a gymnastics superstar and an Olympic medalist. So she is one of the celebrities, one of the quote-unquote stars that is on the brand new Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue cover. So they've been doing this for a year. I remember when Tyra Banks, she was like the first black woman that was ever on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. I don't know, times have changed. So I've heard conversations. There are some women that feel that this swimsuit issue should have stopped being published. They feel that it may objectify women. I'm not a woman, so I am not in a position I can't say it's not if there's a woman that feels that women who don or wear a swimsuit and pose for pictures to be on the cover of a sports magazine. Basically, it's a sports magazine. Their primary demographic are men, but you have millions of women who are in sports. So you do have women that read Sports Illustrated. I think you got women that work for Sports Illustrated. So, and that's a whole different conversation. I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but I wanted to congratulate Jordan Childs once again. That's big for you, my sister, because gymnastics, it's not like pro basketball. It's not like pro football. They don't have a WNBA. So really, their Olympic career. Now, yes, they compete and they perform and they can get money, but listen, I don't know what Sports Illustrated paid you, young sister. Get your bag. So I am not mad at you. And if you are good with it, and of course she's a gymnast, so she's in great shape. Her body looks great because that's how she makes her money. Her body's got to be in top, like peak physical form so she can perform as a gymnast. So I'm not mad at you. You in your 20s, do your thing. Get your bank. It wasn't like she was butt-ass naked, legs spread wide open, because you got some folks who do that. They're not on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but they got OnlyFans page and porn movies. So, hey, look, as my mother said, Jeannie, you ain't got a heaven or hell to put nobody in. So I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm not having that conversation, but I did want to shout her out. So, but let me know, what do you think? Rosalind, give me your opinion. Everybody else that's watching me live, jump in my chat room right there. Give me your opinion. Type it in the chat room box, and I'll share it on camera. But congratulations to Jordan Childs, and congratulations to a man that you may not never heard his name. Actually, I really hadn't heard his name. I think I may have heard of his name, but really I didn't really know who this man was until like this morning. John Ewing, I believe he is a junior. John Ewing, congratulations. He was elected to be the brand new mayor of Omaha, Nebraska. As a matter of fact, John Ewing will be the first black mayor in that city's history. Omaha, Nebraska, it is the birthplace of Malcolm X, who next Monday, I got a very special show. I'm proud to share the same zodiac sign with the brother Malcolm X, Malcolm Little. Then he became Malcolm X. Then he became El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. So, but it's the birthplace. He was Malcolm Little when he was born in Omaha, Nebraska. So shout out to John Ewing. Now, Omaha, Nebraska is a city, 64% white, 11.5% black, and I think about 4.5% Hispanic Latino. So Mayor-elect John Ewing, congratulations. Shout out to you, doing your thing. Okay. So now everybody that's watching me, I really want to get you all's feedback, because I haven't talked about this story. I mean, lately, I haven't mentioned this trial. Now, I have talked about just the story, or the storylines. There's multiple lines about he was an intern at Uptown Records, became record industry mogul / producer, rapper. I use that term loosely. Sean Diddy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, he changed so many damn names. Sean Combs, AKA Diddy, and his trial, the criminal trial, where he's been accused, this is a federal trial, so he's been accused of running a criminal enterprise and sex trafficking. Now, so jury selection was the other day, the trial began. I think this is the second day that Cassie, so a lot of this centers his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Cassie was around 19, and Diddy was about 30, early 30s, when he first started dating Cassie. Now, you've probably seen videos, you've seen commentary about some of the stuff that has come out about the trial and these freak-off parties, and Cassie's talked about where Diddy would hire male escorts and make her have sex with these male escorts and all kind of crazy stuff. You know what? And I just, the whole salacious stuff. I mean, there's been talk about, one of the male escorts urinating in her mouth and, who was it? Was it Cassie? Was it Cassie's idea? She asked the male escort to pee in her mouth, but did he put her up to? So this, and then today, something about bodily fluids from the male escort that wound up on Cassie. Diddy wanted her to take like the semen, look, if I'm grossing you all out, I'm sorry, but this is this is testimony in open court. So it's all out on social media and taking the semen from the male escort that was on Cassie and rubbing it on Diddy's nipples and just, listen, I don't know what that level of money and power and, look, you grown. I don't give a damn how freaky you are. I don't care about your sex life. I don't. But this is what the conversation that I really want to have today. Because even Diddy's lawyers have made a very interesting point. And there's been some speculation, there's been conversations, there's been articles written that Diddy's attorneys may see an opening to get Diddy off, to keep him from going to jail and being charged with running a criminal enterprise and sex trafficking. Because in a ironic but honest twist, I mean, this video don't lie. Even Diddy's attorneys in open court, they've admitted that, listen, this trial is not about domestic violence, how it's bad. And if this was a trial about, as a matter of fact, I saw a quote from one of his attorneys that said, if this was a trial about domestic violence, we would not be here. Now, you can interpret that any way you want to, but when I read that and I read it again, I read it like 3 times. I'm like, if this was a trial, now this is Diddy's own defense attorney saying if this was a trial about domestic violence, we would not be here. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me, that is an acknowledgement, that is admitting that your client engaged in domestic violence. So, but what I really want to touch on, I want to touch on just the level of misogyny and sexism. I guess you could throw in the word patriarchy, but it's just, and this is nothing new. I mean, anytime a woman accuses a man of sexual assault in any form, any defense attorney worth their salt, because once again, a criminal defense attorney's job is to defend their client aggressively, vigorously. Their job is to keep their client out of jail. So, morals, what's moral? Throw that shit out the window. His job, the man is being paid to say and do and present whatever evidence, to twist it, to remix it, to spin it, turn, twist the angle, shred a little bit, whatever he's got to do, within the bounds of what's allowed in a court of law in America to get his client off. But it's the commentary that I've seen for men in general. So this is not going. I'm not jumping on black men, because misogyny, sexism, and patriarchy is global. And the one thing about misogyny and sexism, let's put it this way. even though there are millions, probably billions of men who share the same level of misogyny and sexism that they have with racism. But there are some men who just lean into the misogyny and the sexism and the patriarchy. And I'm going to speak to men in general. I'm specifically having a conversation with brothers, with men from the African diaspora, not just, brothers, black men in America, but Afro-Latino, Afro from wherever, from the Caribbean to Central America to South America, Asia, Afro-Asian American men on the continent of Africa. We really, 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 we got to have a real, serious, hard, open, well, I don't know, we may not even be able to have this one like open. We may have to we may have to lock the doors of the barbershop. No, we're not going to do what was it, Bishop Marvin Sapp did. No. Close the doors. Close the doors. Not that. We're not going to do that. But we may have to have a conversation where it's like we need to pull the shades down and put the close sign on and then just have a conversation among ourselves, among men, especially among black men from across the African diaspora. We need to have this conversation about, because we got sons. I've seen enough, and it's not the majority, but I've seen enough. I've seen enough commentary, I've seen enough videos, I've seen enough posting on social media, and those young men do not represent the vast majority of young men in their 20s, but just talking to Allie and her friends, people, and I get it, when you're in your 20s, the human brain is not even fully developed until you turn 25, okay? So if you're 22, 21, 22, 23, you still are really trying to figure out, like, who am I really, and what do I really want to do with my life? You got people 55 still trying to figure that shit out. Or 50, somebody 23, you got folks in their, mid-50s? 53, 55 trying to figure that out. But I digress. But let's go back to the serious, come to Jesus, come to Allah, come to Jehovah, come to whoever. You just insert whatever name you want to put there. Come to God conversation about misogyny and sexism. We have to, especially in our community. We got to do that. But really, it's a conversation that all men need to have. Yeah, these white dudes, these bro cultures, this bro culture. And look, and I get it. Look, I'm a man. I get it. We all are human. We all have, we have days where we're pretty confident. We have days when we're not as confident. Now, some of us are just, there's some folks that's, they're not, narcissism is beyond like an ego, a big ego. It's just, narcissism is like pathological, and that is just, yeah. There's something mental going on. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, but narcissism, that's a whole different level, and that's the issue. I don't know. Prayer and a therapist or a team of therapists, but I digress. But we got to be honest. We got to have this conversation. We have to, and we got to do a better job, especially the OGs in the community, the OGs, the elders, soon to be OGs. Come on, we got it among not just our 20-something-year-old men, hell, our 50, 60, 70-year-old men. You can make an argument at that point, it may be too late, but you still need to have that conversation about sexism, because I've seen all the comments about Cassie Ventura, Diddy's old girlfriend. I mean, rappers and just, regular folk guys. Like, well, she loved it. She could have just, if she really wanted to leave, if it was that bad, that she could have just left. I've even seen women. share that same sentiment. Well, she was that afraid. Why did she go back to Diddy and why did she stay? And like I said yesterday, I want you to Google a phrase. There's a term in human behavior, in psychology and psychiatry. There's a term, a condition called Stockholm's syndrome. Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm's syndrome. Google that or Chat GPT it. Use your AI, search, because a lot of folks are now using Chat GPT. Whatever search engine you got, Google or Chat GPT Stockholm syndrome. Now I'll help you out. Basically, Stockholm syndrome is when a person that has been a victim of abuse, kidnapping, oppression, violence for so long, they begin to, the person who is the victim that has been abused and beaten, tortured, kidnapped, that something happens in their brain, something happens with their mind, something happens to where they begin to defend their abuser and their oppressor and their tormentor or kidnapper. They begin to defend the behavior. Well, you know what? It's not the person that's beaten the shit out of me, the person that's tortured me, that's kidnapped me, that abuses me. It's not his fault. It's me. And if I would just act right, I've even heard that term. She just needs to act right. What is that act? They didn't even say act. Act. She needs to just act right. What's act? A-C-K. Act right. Then this wouldn't happen to me. So that is real. Stockholm syndrome is real. Now you can say, well, Geno, look, have you sat down and diagnosed Cassie? Are you a psychiatrist, a psychologist? No, but I know the symptoms, and I know what it looks like, and I know what it sounds like, and I've read, and I've talked to, and I've had conversations with experts in the field, psychiatrists, therapists, people who study human behavior, who will tell you that a lot of what they've heard so far in open court from Cassie, some of it almost sounds like, some people are trying to say that, it sounds like she still loves Diddy. There's a part of her that probably loves a part of him. I even saw one of the quotes, because the testimony is, it's recorded, the transcript. There you go. So a lot of outlets, news, entertainment outlets, they have republished the transcript from the trial, from the testimony for that day. And one of the transcripts, or I've heard people kind of give their opinion who were sitting in the courtroom, and they say, it almost sounds like she may still be in love with him. Now, what did come out in the transcript, Cassie did say something to the effect that when Diddy got really angry and violent, she said his eyes would turn black. And she said that when that Diddy came out, I'm paraphrasing, that she was afraid because she said that Diddy, that angry, evil, violent Diddy whose eyes turned black wasn't the same Diddy that she fell in love with. So, let me bring this back home. Okay, I was just reading one of the comments. So let me just go back and tie a bow on this. Men, we have got to address the misogyny and the sexism, and understand that's learned behavior. We were taught that. There's a saying, hurt people. And I get it, men. Yes, men, we are human. We hurt, we have feelings. I think we have all, at least once, some maybe a couple times, had our heart broken or fell in love or had a crush on a woman that didn't want to be bothered with us. And, you know, if that's happened more than a few times, then, you know, you can start to, you know, be angry. I see a significant number of angry young men on social media, and, you know, women are only good for one thing, and women, you know, they want all your money all the time, and you know, women don't want you if you don't have, you know, a certain amount, just a lot of toxic pain. You can see that there's trauma. And women are dealing with trauma. Just being a woman in a sexist, misogynist, especially a black woman, the trauma, we as black people, the epigenetic, you can Google that. I'll tell you what it is. You can Google the chat GP that. Epigenetic trauma is trauma that is passed down through our DNA. There were studies. You can Google this. You can chat GPT this. I remember reading a story. There was a study of the grandchildren of Holocaust survivors. And they were able to trace and track genetically the trauma that was passed down from their grandparents who were victims of the Holocaust. So there's medical data, there's scientific research, peer-reviewed. You can find this for yourself. You can, like I said, Google or chat GPT epigenetic trauma. So think about the epigenetic trauma that black Americans have had passed down from our ancestors all the way back to 1619 when the first Africans arrived on the shores of Virginia from West Africa. So can you imagine all the unresolved trauma and pain and epigenetic trauma that has been passed down through and into our DNA? So I get it, fellas. From black men being burned, lynched, hung, burned, castrated. All of that. I get it, fellas. But too many times that pain, that trauma, that anger, that pain, that trauma, that energy is turned on the people that we need to get through this. The most, women, especially black women. Full stop, no apology for that. So we have got to have a conversation. And there's a level of accountability. I even had this conversation with Allie the other day. I won't go into details, but I was just saying that there comes a point for people, men and women, if you have had a string of relationships over a period of time, 2, 3, 5 years. And if they all ended the same way, and all of the people that you were attracted to that harmed you, that hurt you, that disappointed you, and if all of them turned out to be the same way or act the same way, at some point you have got to look in the mirror and be accountable for your choices. And it's not blaming a victim, but you have to say, okay, it's one thing to have one bad relationship, but if I've had 7 or 8 over 5 or 10 years, okay, then at some point I got to say, why am I making those choices? What is it about me that I see a certain type of person that has a certain trait that always winds up hurting, harming, or disappointing me? I got to make a different choice. What is it about? Why am I choosing these type of people? Now, if you try to apply that to Cassie, she was 19, first of all. And this situation, a very powerful man, a man who would send his goons, bodyguards, to go literally find Cassie and bring her back. She talked about how in all the houses he had, from New York to Miami to Los Angeles, he had safes with guns, all type of weapons. She talked about in court one time to where they were out in LA having a freak off, and somebody said Suge Knight was coming in, and Diddy ended the freak off and went open the safe and got his guns and went looking for Suge. Just keep in mind, this young woman, early 20s, started dating him at 19, powerful, fearful. Talk to some women who stay in abusive, violent relationships because a man is threatening not just to kill them, but their family, their children. They're in a situation where they are completely financially dependent. Once again, Cassie was 19. She wasn't 29. She wasn't 39. Diddy was a whole decade, 10 years, at least 10 years plus older than her. So I don't know what's going to happen with this trial. It's going to be interesting. Suge Knight was being interviewed somewhere on the network and said that he believes even if Diddy's convicted, that Orange Hitler, Donald J, the J stands for Jackass Trump, who has been found liable of sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll. As a matter of fact, in that civil trial, the judge said the evidence that he saw in court proved to him that Donald Trump actually raped E. Jean Carroll. Those were the words of the judge presiding over that civil trial that Donald Trump lost and still owes E. Jean Carroll $90 million in a civil trial because he was found liable of sexual assault. So that's on the record. That's not an opinion. That's a fact, legal fact on the record of ruling in a civil trial, found liable. They don't use the word guilty, but that's what liable means in a civil trial. That the judge or the jury said, we think that you did this. So it's interesting because Suge Knight, accused of beating Michelet before Suge Knight, and Michelet she talked about this in a movie. It was about her life, and I believe she wrote a book. She talked about how Dr. Dre, when she was very young, when they first met, Dr. Dre would beat her, and then she got with Suge Knight, and then he eventually became physically violent toward her. So we gotta really have a serious conversation. And we have to change that culture. Because regardless of whatever the verdict is, whether a jury can find Diddy guilty of sex trafficking, or running a criminal enterprise, which Diddy's lawyer said that the evidence doesn't show that. The evidence may show that there was domestic abuse in this relationship, but the evidence so far that's been displayed in court, or the testimony that's been given in court, does not indicate that he was guilty of running a criminal enterprise or engaging in sex trafficking. But it's early, y'all. So I would just tell Diddy's attorneys, I know you're trying to put that seed and plant that in the jury's mind. That's your job, but it's early. They're just getting started. And I'm not rooting for or against Diddy, but I've been saying this, I've been doing this show 4.5 years. Karma is real. The energy that you put out into the universe, it will always find its way back to you because it is your energy, good or bad. And it might take years, it might take decades. But karma is real. And you don't have to believe in God, spirituality, nothing, none of that. The energy that we all have energy, we all release energy, And the energy that you send out into the universe, that energy will always find its way back to you. Now, you can argue, you can debate, you can discuss, whatever. Have at it. Do you. Good luck with that. Because my grandfather would tell me, Conway Jones would say, Jeannie, just keep living and you'll see. Karma is real. Some would say Diddy's already run into his karma. Because if you haven't run into your karma yet, it's not behind you. You just hadn't run into it yet. It's in front of you and you ain't hit it. But that's real. All right. Let me shout out. We got, is it Margot? Hi there. Her offer, I'm trying to read. I believe I got, is that Margot in there? Hey, Margot. How are you? First time person in my chat room. So thank you. Yeah, I got it. And somebody mentioned, so I've got to get a screen where I can look at all my chats so I don't have to bend down and people like, well, you're not on camera. You got to look down. So I'm part of the upgrades. That's why it's so important, those who financially support the show and the media company, so we can make constant upgrades with equipment to the show. So I can get a bigger teleprompter and I can have all my chat conversations right there. And I can just look into the camera or I can read the comments in the chat room and look into the camera at the same time. But I got somebody named Margot. So thank you. And Rosalind, I see you in there. And of course, Mary Dixon, my mother. So, man, we have to address the misogyny, sexism. But we have to address first, I would say even before that, if we can do it simultaneously, but I think we may need to first have the conversation about being able to address our own trauma and creating a safe space for other men. You know, we got to change the culture from that standpoint, because a lot of these bad habits are habits that we have learned from the colonizers and the Europeans, a lot of this. So we have to understand, really know who we truly are, who our ancestors were even before we got here, when it was about community and culture. Even in Africa, I mean, you didn't really see a lot of the issues in Africa in terms of tribes and nations warring until these Europeans came down, colonizing and invading different countries, pitting countries against each other for resources, diamonds, minerals, other fine minerals, primarily things like diamonds, precious metals. Continent of Africa, probably in terms of minerals, the richest continent on the planet. So people wanted to come in and extract the diamonds and minerals and other wealth and make money. And they would fund armies and have countries. That's going on to this day. China's all up in Africa. Russia's in Africa. Great Britain. America's got a smaller presence. That's a whole different conversation. But we as men, we need to have that conversation. And really all men need to have that conversation, not just brothers. But I'm focusing on my community. But, you know, if these white men and whiteness is a made up construct and power structure, because whiteness, color, white, black, doesn't exist in human biology. In the human genome, there's nothing that identifies white or black. You can identify African, European, Asia. That's all right. Not gonna go down. It's not an anthropology class, anthropological class. We'll have to have that class in history another day. All right. Man, a lot of folks watching today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. Hey, listen, I want to give me your comment. What do you think about today's monologue Agree, disagree, like, love, hate. I don't care. Just speak your truth. Say what you got to say. Speak your mind. Leave your comments in the comment section. Also, when I'm on camera, hear what you got to say. Jump in the chat room. Fellas, I want to hear from you fellas that, think that, blaming Cassie and, why she could have left and she stuck around. She was liking that sex and all. You know what? She was young, got freaky, and drugs, alcohol kicked in, money, and living lavish. There was a time probably where it was fun and exciting, new, different, until it wasn't. And then she didn't want to do it anymore, and she even talked about that. That was part of her testimony, I believe, today in court. Cassie said, I didn't want to do these freak offs. I didn't want to do them anymore. But Diddy made her do them, whether she wanted to do it or not. So what happens when somebody doesn't want to do it anymore, but you want to make them do it? And we got a problem. We got to talk about that. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. Live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 p.m. live in Los Angeles and on the West Coast. Tell everybody to subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Tell them to share or tag this episode, to copy and paste the link in a text message or an email. Send it to everybody. Screen grab, rip some of this monologue, chop it up, make it go viral. Binge watch all my back episodes. Leave your comments in the comments section. You'll see right below my screen here, you'll see comments. Leave your comments in the comment section. It is so important. That is very important to my company, to this show, and my YouTube channel. YouTube looks at all of that. And also, they are looking at my subscribers. And they're like, Geno, you're doing great. You're almost there. Almost a YouTube partner. I need about 156 new subscribers to become a YouTube partner. That means that my company, my media company, will get a monthly check, monthly income from YouTube. So please continue to support Black-owned media. Please continue to support my media company, this show, this channel, and your financial support is greatly appreciated, and it is really needed, absolutely, positively needed to not just survive, but to thrive and grow the show and the channel. So if you would like to make a financial contribution, thank you in advance. You can Zelle me or you can Cash App me. You can Zelle me, use my name, Geno Jones, and then use my email address, Geno Jones Show. That's how you spell it, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. So you can Zelle a donation, a financial contribution via Zelle by using my name, Geno Jones, then use my email address, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. It will take you to my Zelle business account, or you can Cash App me, $ or my company, $ Dad G Jones, all one word, $, capital D, lowercase a d, capital G, capital J, ONES, $, capital D, lowercase a d, capital G, capital J, lowercase ONES, $ Dad G Jones. That's on Cash App. Thank you in advance. And spread the word. Feel free to, you can put that in a post anywhere. You can put it in your own link, however you want to do it. If you're doing a video talking about the show, please make sure that you put a hashtag behind it. All that. Do all that stuff to get people's attention and let them know how they can financially support the Geno Jones Show and my media company. All right. Shout out to Mr. Bruce Gage. He is one of the stylists for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out, the Mario Uomo collection. That's M-A-R-I-O, Mario. Uomo is an Italian surname, so it's U-O-M-O. Now, Allie Jones is the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check Allie Jones and her Lexi Jones collection out on IG or Instagram, lx.ncl underscores that little dash at the end, lx.n like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi on Instagram. And Mario Uomo is on Instagram. Bruce Gage, he is on, you can find him on Facebook as Bruce Gage. But Mario Uomo is on Instagram. Shout out once again to City Vibes Bar and Lounge, 9730 Dorchester Road. Big shout out to Corey and Kenya Williams, 9730 Dorchester Road here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro area. And shout out to the Crate Group, one of the top nonprofits in America. If you're looking for a nonprofit to support, to invest in, to pour into, that's doing great work, that has been doing great work for over 3 decades. Shout out to their CEO, Kendrick Bannister, CRATE, thecrategroup.org. Thank you. Thank you to, let's see here, of course, to my mother, Mary Dixon, and Rosalind, and I had someone new. Is it Margot in the chat room? Thank you. And everybody else is watching that did not post. Thank you for watching. I love you. We'll see you live Thursday. So Thursday we're going to talk about what these folks are really trying to do. Don't get distracted with the plane from Qatar that they want to give Orange Hitler and all that. Forget about the Democratic National Committee. Don't get distracted. Because in the meantime, what they don't want you to focus on is that these MAGA cult members in Congress have voted to get rid of and take away your Medicaid, and they're coming for your Social Security and Medicare, and they're voting to take away SNAP benefits, trying to act like, well, it's those lazy black folks that are just cheating the system. No. The majority of people that receive SNAP benefits in America, first of all, are white people. And the majority of people on SNAP, the number one demographic is young white women, single women with children. So stop tripping, okay? But they don't want you to know that fact. So we're going to talk about all that Thursday. Start time could be at 7 p.m. So our goal, so come here at 6:30, but know that the show will definitely, we could push that start time back 30 minutes to no later than 7 p.m. But as of now, 6:30 start time, Eastern time. That's 5:30 Central time, 3:30 p.m. West Coast time. Thursday, we'll see you then.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.